Alright everybody, so today is the 8th of June. It is a fine day. I had a really good arm workout. I did another day of BFR. You can actually kind of see the the marks from where my cuffs were a little bit tight. And had an absolutely crazy pump. I was supposed to do, one workout in the morning, one workout in the evening. I ended up not being able to do my morning workout before work, so I had to do the whole thing in the evening, and that meant that it was a little bit more draining. I was, struggling to get everything done, but I did, and then I came home and I basically, ate a bunch and, practically just wanted to pass out, but anyway, so I keep saying, okay, I'm done with viewer questions, but you guys keep sending more, so this is the next viewer questions video. But I'm also going to talk about fructose in general, and so we'll kind of, we've just got a couple questions, and then we'll jump into another topic as well. Alright, so at Desjardins on Twitter, that's DESJARDINS, says, I want to know how to increase my appetite without drugs. That's my friend Kevin. Kevin is basically looking to bulk up. So, he wants to know how he can increase his appetite without drugs. By being heavier. This is a really unfortunate truth, because the thing is that your body, in most situations, our bodies are designed to have an appetite to give us the exact, or roughly the exact number of calories that we need to sustain, our lifestyle. And there's certainly ways that we can fool our body, there's certainly ways that we can sort of trick, ourselves into eating too much or too little, and, kind of messing with that, that innate sort of sense that we have of appetite. But, in general, it does pretty well for a lot of people, which is why a lot of people tend to have pretty stable, body weights, even though, typically what you see is that people have pretty stable body weights most of the time, and then they have, sudden jumps in weight here and there when, and they usually coincide with special events in your life. Something that happened that, really drove you to eat more, or to gain weight, or, lose weight, or, whatever it was. So typically, most people, most of the time, are going around in a state where they're roughly maintaining their body weight. And that's because your appetite does a very good job of that. Now, so the question is how to increase that. Well, obviously there are ways that you can do it with drugs, and that's not ideal for most people. Then, of course, the only other real way is simply to be heavier. And so if you're trying to bulk up, the problem is that you're always going to be experiencing that issue where you're not going to have quite the appetite you need to eat the amount that you want to gain the weight that you want. But then the thing is that once you get up to that weight, you start to have that level of appetite to maintain, where you're at. So the single biggest driver of your appetite tends to be your current weight. And unfortunately, there's not really too much you can do about that. You can always focus on, calorie dense, kind of junk foods, because those tend to be the way that we trick the brain into eating more calories. But there's not really any way to strictly increase your hunger without actually gaining weight. Next question from @buttwife on Twitter says, do I need to be gaining weight to gain muscle? If I maintain my weight, can my lifts go up at the same time if I lift heavier? So, that's two very different, very important questions. Do I need to be gaining weight to gain muscle? No, you don't. You absolutely do not. It's possible to gain muscle while losing weight, in certain situations. It's extremely possible to gain muscle while remaining at the same weight. That's what we tend to call body recomposition. Now, the thing is that it's easiest to build muscle while gaining weight. That's simply because your body, you've got extra calories to do that with. You're in, a calorie surplus. Your hormones are all, everything is firing. You're doing great. Versus, say a cut where you're losing weight. Your hormones are tanking. You feel cranky. You don't have quite the same energy levels. Things are just not quite lining up as well. So you have a much harder time trying to build muscle when you're cutting than when you're in a calorie when you're in a calorie surplus. So, it is easiest to do that. That's why bodybuilders tend to do bulking and cutting cycles, simply because that tends to be the quickest way to do this. Does that mean that you can't build muscle otherwise? Of course not. You can absolutely build muscle otherwise. It just tends to be a bit slower and more, involved and sustained of a process. Next question is, if I maintain my weight, can my lifts go up at the same time if I lift heavier? So, yes, absolutely. There's a lot, if you take up a good, proper strength training program, you can absolutely gain a lot of strength without, necessarily gaining weight. So, what that tends to be is there tends to be about two major ways that you can increase the amount of weight that you can lift, your strength. One is neurological factors. So that's training. That's, lifting, that's practicing that specific lift, and following a good program to kind of teach your brain to coordinate the muscles to do the movement properly. So that's all your neurological factors, and that's it. And those are independent of your weight. So, obviously you can vastly improve your strength by training those neurological factors, even if you're not changing your weight or anything like that. Now, that being said, muscular, the other half of the equation is muscular factors. So obviously, the more muscle you have, the more weight you can lift. That's not up for discussion. If you look at a 130-pound guy and a 300-pound guy, the 300-pound guy can definitely lift a lot more. And the main reason, you at the same level of training, that is, the same level of, neurological training, the reason for that, of course, is just that he's got a lot more muscle. Now, it's less efficient after a certain point because it's just kind of the way mathematics is and the way kind of mass is when you add on mass to a person. So the thing is that you won't gain strength proportionally to the amount of weight that you're gaining. Like a 150-pound guy and a 300-pound guy, the 300-pound guy cannot lift twice as much as the 150-pound guy. That's just sort of the way it is. Does that make it less impressive? Absolutely not. That's just kind of how the way things scale. So the question, so basically, if you stay at the same weight, it's absolutely possible to gain muscle and then, also gain strength. And in fact, gaining muscle will help you, gain strength. In many cases, typically, like there's a really good calculator on strength theory. That's strengththeory.com. If you search maximum muscular potential, it's a massive 2-part article. He's got some calculators that really kind of lay it out for you. Basically, you can improve your strength by building muscle, or you can improve your strength by training neurological factors. Those are the two big things that you focus on, and you can do both of those things while staying at the same weight. So yeah, hope that helps. All right, third thing is we're going to talk about fructose. So I am drinking a lot of soda during this bulk. I've been very open about that. This is my second 2-liter of the day. I've been actually slacking because I usually would have like about half of this gone by now. But the thing is, I've had a friend who heard about this and he was like, "Oh, this is an awful idea. This is awful." And then he went ahead and started Googling stuff on the internet, and he comes back and says, "Oh no, like I heard fructose is the key to storing unlimited amounts of fat." And, whatever. Just, oh no, that can't be a good way to bulk. That can't be it. You're going to have diabetes by the time you hit age 30 or something. Alright, so I'm not going to say that's not possible. It's certainly probably possible. I will say that, that what just happened was the equivalent of someone looking themselves up on WebMD and being like, okay, now I have cancer. Because that's that's essentially the extent of that level of research. Is it possible that I really screw myself up down the line by drinking a lot of soda? Absolutely. The thing is, fructose on its own is not particularly any more damaging or disastrous than any other sugar. There's a really good write-up by Alan Aragon that I'll share a link to. Alan Aragon has a really good, it's called The Bitter Truth About Fructose Alarmism, and it was a huge, I want to say, I don't know what year this was. I want to say this was 2012 or something. It was a while back. It got crap tons of comments. He had to make another whole blog post clarifying even more stuff and summarizing all the debate that had gone on in the comments. And basically, what he did was he took a look at the research and he said that essentially, for an average person, I think the number was about 50 to 100 grams of fructose a day is a perfectly healthy, tolerable, number. Now, given the amount of soda that I'm drinking, I'm getting in at least probably 800 grams. No, not 800. 400. Sorry, 400 grams of fructose a day. And the best part about that article, of course, was that Alan pointed out that we don't have data for athletic populations, and athletic populations are very different from regular populations in terms of how you're going to react to different things. It's possible that it's much higher than that 100 number. It's possible that it's as high as the 400 number that I'm taking in. We don't know. There's not really any research that actually has gone in and validated that. And I will tell you personally that there are so many stories of people who do a crap ton of bulking where they're like, it's like 2 gallons of Gatorade a day. Or, that's like this, 4 liters of soda is less than 2 gallons of Gatorade, I'll tell you that much. Or at least I assume so. Like, it must be. Yeah, it must be. But, yeah, the thing is that people have been doing this for forever. People have been bulking on sugar and ice cream and chocolate and what have you. I could count. I would need more than 2 hands to count the number of bodybuilders that I could tell you off the top of my head who have done something like that. Is it something that's talked about a lot in the community? Not necessarily, but I will tell you that it's certainly not uncommon, and I certainly don't think that I'm going to keel over and die anytime soon, just from my, my current diet. My activity levels are high, really high, and I've been doing this for a long time, and, I don't know, I assume I'm taking on some level of risk. I'm not denying that fact. I'm assuming that my, I'm screwing up my blood levels somehow. I'm screwing up my cholesterol, or I'm screwing up something. I don't know. I'm sure I am. But it's not like I'm saying that I am going to be doing this every day for the rest of my life. I'm doing this for a brief period of time during a bulking cycle to help me gain some weight. I'm going to be losing a lot of this weight, shortly afterwards, and my diet's going to go basically back to normal. So, can I hurt? Can I cause long-term damage or effects in that span of time? Absolutely. Is it going to be the worst thing in the world? Probably not. So yeah, all athletes and people who train seriously like athletes do take on a certain level of risk when they agree to compete and when they push themselves like this, and it's normal. I cannot you know that there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of amateur bodybuilders out there. They're all not necessarily doing the exact same thing I'm doing, but potentially doing something similar. That's just kind of how the world, that's just kind of how things are happening. So, will I say that, I'm not going to see any negative effects from this level of sugar consumption? No. Do I think that I'm, immediately going to die or, gain a crap ton of fat instead of muscle or anything like that? No, I'm still I've gained 30 pounds and I'm still decently lean. I'm not that bad. So yeah. Don't believe everything you read on the internet, I guess, is step one. If you're gonna do the WebMD thing, go get, a professional opinion, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, that's all I have for tonight, guys. So, as always, comment, share. Let me know what questions you want me to answer next time. Maybe we'll still keep doing viewer questions videos. Alright, see ya. Bye.